Hi everybody and welcome back to Holy Lands RPG. I'm Rackmaster.
And I'm Eve.
We're glad to be here. We're glad you're here. We wanted to, real quick, just kind of go over a couple of the character classes. These are two of the simplest character classes that you can play in Holy Lands RPG.
They're also the most customizable.
They're the easiest to create, and for all intents and purposes, they're the most simple to play. They don't have any requirements necessarily. You can be any stature with these character classes, and there are no attribute requirements. So whatever you roll is good to go. The two character classes that we're going to be talking about are the Adventurer and the Fighter. And they basically, exactly what they sound like. The Adventurer is more adventure-oriented, kind of more cunning.
And the Fighter is more fight-oriented.
More brutish. If you go to holylandsrpg.com and you just want to create a quick character and get started in a game, or if you have someone new and you just want to create a quick character for them, you can go to holylandsrpg.com. If you click on the top right of the screen where the saint is on top of the character sheet, it'll give you some options to create a character. And you can choose between more brutish and more cunning. More cunning is going to give you an adventurer, and it just randomly creates all of the things, pulling right from the book, everything random about the attributes and the skills and weapons and everything that you would normally create right out of the book. If you choose more brutish, you're going to choose the fighter character class. So if you go to holylandsrpg.com, you can create a real quick character. So now we're going to kind of break down the differences between the two character classes.
Can I print out the character sheet if I've created it?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Of course you can. By hitting Control-P after the amazing website creates a character class for you, you hit Control-P on your keyboard and it'll pull up a print-ready version, so you can just hit print and print it out. And it has everything laid out for you, very similar to how a normal Holy Lands RPG character sheet is laid out. You've got the details, the attributes, abilities, gifts, talents, and crafts, and weapon skills. So, this is a very easy way to just get started just really quick. So, now we want to touch on what the Adventurer is. Eve, why don't you tell them what the Adventurer means in gameplay?
So, in gameplay, the Adventurer is open to any life path that you feel like taking. So, you're going to wander around, you're going to meet people, you're going to talk to them, you're going to play an instrument at a tavern, you're going to, wander through the woods by yourself for no reason at all. I mean, if you want to do it, you can probably do it as far as adventure goes with the Adventurer.
I know, I do that all the time, wander through the forest. But when I am looking for adventure, I would choose the Adventurer character class. From a technical standpoint, there are no attribute requirements, as I said before. So whatever you roll on your attributes is good to go. They start low on faith, but most of their skills, the Adventurer's skills, you can be male or female, most of the skills are more, like she was saying, adventure-oriented. We'll get into what the differences are, but the fighter is obviously more fighter-oriented. The skills that you get with the Adventurer character class, you can kind of be many of the adventuring character classes all combined into one. So you do have like the pick locks, and you have the preach, and you have play wind and stringed instruments, trap works, combat abilities. But you also have like the comedy and storytelling, the intellectual skills, creatures and beasts,
sacred studies,
cult knowledge, dancing, things like what Eve was saying. If you go to a tavern, you can feel right at home and in place by becoming one with the crowd. You have kind of a personality, and you can intermingle with other character classes much more easy.
And your weapons and your armor are going to all be basic starting out. So everybody starts out with a dagger. It's more utility based. And then you've got your long dagger, and the Adventurer also has a mace or a warhammer. One thing that is different with the adventurer and the fighter from the other classes is that instead of starting out with 7 gifts, you are going to get to pick all of your gifts, talents, and crafts, and they start out with 2s across the board instead of 3s, 2s, and 1s.
So what she's saying is when we get into character creation, the other character classes, besides the adventurer and fighter, have 7 gifts that make up that character class. And you have to have attribute requirements in order to have those gifts, because they have attribute requirements in order for anybody to acquire those gifts. With the adventurer, you have 7 gifts still, but you get to pick what they are. So you can pick anything from the list of gift, talents, and crafts. There are only a couple weapon skills, 4 to be exact. So you have the basic 4 weapon skills, and there's 1 combat skill you can pick. So you can make it a little bit more combat oriented, but overall it's going to be much more
adventure oriented.
Adventure oriented. We'll just leave it at that. Next would be the fighter. So the fighter, quite simply, is just what it sounds like. Your character is going to be more fighter-oriented. You start out with, the same things basically that the adventurer starts out with the exception of the list of gifts, talents, and crafts that you can pick from. And with these gifts, talents, and crafts, you have most of the CS skills, so most of the combat skills, the grapple escape, ground fight, tackling, anything that in case you need to get into some fisticuffs with someone. Also siege engines, so you actually can, you have military knowledge, taking over castles.
A ballista.
And you also have...
I don't know if that's how you launch a ballista. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, it takes like 3 people. Anyway, you also have your choice of any or all of the weapon skills. So you can put all of the weapon skills, if you wanted to, on your gifts. This way, you have, as your character goes up, your fighter goes up, he or she's going to be adept with any weapon that he or she runs into.
Now, the weapons you start out with, like the adventurer, you're going to have your dagger and your long dagger, but this time you're going to also start out with a war axe or a vogue.
So that's a pole axe. It's a really tall pole axe.
And the blessing types are going to be blessings of courage instead of fortune,
which are usually more combat oriented. We're going to talk about all blessings later. But I hope that gives you a quick idea of what the adventure and fighter classes are based on. You can go to Holy Lands RPG and create them really quickly. Hope this video has been helpful. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. We'll see you soon. God bless.